let's reorder the 2021 quarterback draft. People said it was the greatest draft since 1983. That's to be determined. I guess we'll find out in the next few years. But now we've seen a lot of for these quarterbacks. Would you change the order of this draft in terms of where the quarterbacks went?
I think I would. I mean, I know it's still early. It's that, the jury's still out on all these quarterbacks, honestly, except for maybe Mac Jones. I feel like I know who Mac Jones is at this point. The other guys still have a lot to prove. If I was redrafting again, I would draft Justin Fields 1, Trey Lance 2, Trevor Lawrence 3, Zach Wilson 4, and Mac Jones 5th. I'm talking about order of how they're drafted.
Say it one more time. Say it one for the people in the back.
So Justin Fields will be my first quarterback coming off the board, followed by Trey Lance, followed by Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Mac Jones would still be the last quarterback off the board for me.
Okay, why would you drop Trevor? Or why would you just explain your ranking? Why you put people where they did?
Well, again, this could be wrong because we haven't seen enough of Trey Lance. Trey Lance could end up being better or worse. All these guys are still yet to be determined. I think Mac Jones is the bottom, so we can throw him on the bottom because he's the least athletic. We know what he is, and we've seen seems like we've seen his best already. He came into the NFL kind of at his ceiling. So that remains Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, and Trevor Lawrence. To me, Justin Fields has shown that he's improving as a passer, and his athleticism is through the roof. So to me, he would be my number one pick. It's not based on these 102 numbers. If we were just based off these 102 numbers, that wouldn't be the case. But for me, at this point, seeing what I've seen, I'm going with Justin Fields first quarterback to be picked. Then it would be Trey Lance, just based on what I've seen out of the 102 attempts. I think he has the highest ceiling out of the remaining quarterbacks. I think Trevor Lawrence will be third, just because I think he's solid in pretty much every area, but nothing is like mind blowing to me yet with Trevor Lawrence. And then Zach Wilson, although he's looking really good as well, he's the worst as far as touchdown to interception ratio out of all of them, and he seems to be very inconsistent. So that's why I have them ranked in that order.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm not sure that I'm ready to change the order. I mean, I feel, again, we just talked about why it's a little early to draw conclusions about these guys. But Trevor Lawrence seems like I wouldn't be surprised if he was an MVP candidate next year. Mm-hmm. Same with Justin Fields. Same with Zach Wilson. I mean, Zach Wilson, his numbers aren't great, but he's 5-1 this year. He's like finding ways to win, which is important for a young guy because young quarterbacks can frequently find ways to lose, especially on a team like that where the margin isn't that great. I just don't like Mac Jones. I mean, nothing against Mac Jones. I just feel like there's no upside there. And that's how I always felt about him. And what he's doing now is what he's just – I felt like – I'm not surprised that he had the most early success, but I felt like he was going to have the most success early on, kind of like Jimmy, and then never improve. And then the league would have a book on him, and he would sort of slowly taper off. And that would be Mac Jones' career, where he'd be, constantly almost getting replaced by the backup quarterback. These four guys could all be really good. And I don't see anything like Trey Lance. You can maybe drop him down because he hasn't played in 2 years, but still, I don't know. I guess the question with Lance is, knowing that he had his second year totally wiped out, does that change your opinion on his ability to reach his ceiling? He's still really young. Yeah. He's still really young. So not necessarily. I don't know. I mean, do you think the Jets are regretting drafting Zach Wilson?
No, maybe. No. So let me clarify. The order is just, those are basically my order of who I like.
Think it's, it's a very interesting topic. I'm just curious. I'm curious. Do you think Robert Saleh? Because I'm sure Robert Saleh and the Jets don't know. And it's part of them is like, I wonder. Justin Fields look good over there. But
I think they're looking at Justin Fields kind of like, we might have. I think that's possible, but I don't think they're down on Zach Wilson. I think he's shown enough. He's a little inconsistent, and we don't really know what we're going to get from Zach Wilson when it's all said and done. But I think he's also shown enough good things to where you're not down on him completely. But Justin Fields is intriguing.
The thing about Wilson, the three guys that went above Justin Fields, they all seem to have the potential to be quarterbacks. I'm not trying to put down Justin Fields, but to me, he's a playmaker, and he abandons your play frequently. I compare him to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had a very illustrious career, won a Super Bowl, went to a lot of Pro Bowls. But was he a good quarterback? I don't know. He was a playmaker. You gave him a run game, you gave him a defense. I mean, he would miss so many reads throughout the game. He couldn't really see over the middle of the field. Not a great passer, but he would make 3 or 4 plays a game with his arm, with his legs, that in conjunction with the rest of the team was enough for him to win a lot of games. And Justin Fields can be that kind of quarterback. But if you want to let him cook, or he gets a little bit older and he loses a step, I think that's what it's going to be like with Justin Fields. Whereas Zach Wilson might be and Trevor Lawrence and Trey Lance may be the kind of quarterbacks that are dicing you up with their arms into their 30s. That's the way I look at it.
I think that's a good point. I think it also depends on what kind of quarterback you like what's your favorite style. Like a lot of guys are like Lamar Jackson is a super talented guy. But me personally, if I'm building a franchise, I'm not building it around Lamar Jackson because his style to me does not it doesn't bode well for longevity and durability, in my opinion, even though he doesn't really seem to be injured. I just
if you had a choice of another top 10 quarterback, I'm with you on that. But if you don't have a top 10 quarterback, he might be the best option for you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
He's amazing. But
he's kind of shown his ceiling to me.
Yeah, and
I think he has.
To a point you made with Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, those types of quarterbacks, at some point that athleticism is going to go away, and then hopefully they can transition into be more of a pocket passer. I mean, you saw with Mike Vick, I think he did a decent job of adjusting when some of his athleticism.
Also, Lamar Jackson is way better than Justin Fields as a thrower in my view too. Like he is statistically a better thrower than them, and he wins.
Yeah, but no, he definitely does. But for me, I think like Kyle Shanahan, if he could pick from any of these 5 quarterbacks right now, he's probably going like Trevor Lawrence. Like that seems like the kind of quarterback he would want, right? It's just someone to run.
Lawrence looked great yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, this is all up to us and individually and what we like as a quarterback. But I really think, Justin Fields could be really good. But I honestly think Trey Lance can. If you're looking at how he started, if you take away his injury and you give Trey Lance all last year and all this year, I think people would be very impressed with him. But I also think it's fair to consider. I know people throw it out, so we got to throw it out. Trey Lance started on a better team than these other quarterbacks, so those numbers are going to be skewed a little bit because of that.